The fresh growth tips of spruce are actually delicious.
We just realized we don't have enough planks to finish the roof. I'm not sure if we're gonna finish by nightfall.
I'm Rob Greenfield, and I'm gonna help my friends build a tiny house on their property in just 3 days. And we're actually gonna do the whole process from cutting down the tree all the way to the finished tiny house. You might have seen me recently on BuzzFeed when I finished a year-long project of growing and foraging 100% of my food. This tiny house is going to be fully off the grid and built completely out of wood harvested on this property, as well as secondhand materials right here from the farm. This is Antoine and Margot, and we're at Le Rêve de Gaia, which means the dream of Mother Earth. Why don't you tell us what this place is?
Le Rêve de Gaia is an eco-project where we strive to be a community where humans, nature and animals can live in productive harmony.
Why are we building a tiny house?
We want to host volunteers and people that want to know about what we do here. We need space to host people.
And I'm the first volunteer that's gonna live in this tiny house, right?
Yeah.
Shall we get to work?
Let's get to work.
Let's go.
Let's build it. The first thing that we need to do is cut down a tree so that we have wood to build the tiny house. I've never cut down a tree before, but you've cut down
thousands. I'm a forester. So I'm gonna cut some branches first so I have a bit more space, and then it's an easy tree because it's a bit steep and it will fall nice on the little field.
The reality is that we're not actually using this tree because we've already cut down some trees 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Because they need
to dry a bit before they be cut in planks.
But we wanted to start with showing you the tree all the way to the tiny house.
We brought it over here on the tractor.
Now we changed the wood because this wood has been cut down a couple of months ago.
How many trees will it take us to make this tiny house?
So we're gonna need 2 trees. So now we're gonna cut beams as a foundation, the floorboards, beams for the sides, and then the planks to cover the sides / roofing.
All of these are trees that were harvested from the land. He bought this land about 7 years ago, and this has pine forests on it that have been used for forestry for decades now. And a lot of it was done in a very unsustainable way. Now he's transitioning this into sustainable forestry and moving it back into a native forest that is a place for humans, other species, and the environment to thrive. And behind me is his wood saw. Imagine if a community had this, they could come together and build their houses out of wood, locally harvested, and it would pay for itself in no time, creating jobs and working with the land rather than having things shipped and depending upon huge corporations. Almost everything here is stuff that we cut today. It's wide, almost like 4x4s. These are for the foundation. These, what we're calling planks, are for the roof / sides. These are the floorboards, which you can see are thicker.
So we're gonna sand the floorboards of the tiny house to prevent splinters in your feet, and we're gonna only sand the floor because we want to keep the rest as natural as possible.
So we probably cut half the wood today, we sanded the floor. I'd say we're on schedule.
Yeah.
How's it going, Margot?
Really well.
Okay, it's the start of day 2. Overall, we're off to a good start. Margot is finished sanding the floorboards. Now it's time to stain them. And Antoine is cutting planks to be the right size. How's it going?
Good.
We're gonna finish the wood with flaxseed oil and turpentine, so the floorboards are smooth so you don't get any splinters into your feet. But the floorboards are the only thing that we're gonna finish like that because we want to see how long a tiny house that is used with natural materials will last.
Okay, we've got most of the materials cut. We're already over halfway into the second day, and I hope to be moving into the tiny house in about 30 hours from now. I've always wanted a tree stump table. My dream is gonna come true. All right, this is the spot right behind me. This is where we cut down the tree yesterday, and it's time to finally start actually building this thing.
We're gonna put the foundation like this, and we're gonna level it out so the floor is straight. It's not level, so I have to lift it here a bit to keep the level straight.
So we've actually moved the foundation back a little bit so that we didn't have to put it up as high. And one thing that I want to mention is on the bottom we're using Douglas fir, which is more resistant to rot and will last longer, and then the rest of the housing is spruce. And I should mention this one material that's not secondhand or from the forest. The screws cost about $30 altogether, and this is pretty much the main cost, right?
Yeah.
The screws. First floorboard.
Ta-da!
How's it feel?
Awesome.
Solid?
Yeah. I'm happy.
Now we're putting on the flooring. It's looking huge too. All right, so we have a floor. Might even be able to sleep here tonight. A little bit hectic last couple of days, but I'm pretty hopeful. All right, so we have the foundation set and it's time to start moving upwards. It's looking good for moving in tonight. So now we're putting up the walls, which is super simple. We're just taking these planks and then we're just screwing them on, and they have an overlap. Keeps the rain running down the side so moisture doesn't stay on there. The windows and doors cost $0 because they were rescued from the landfill.
All right, it's 4 o'clock. We just realized we don't have enough planks to finish the roof.
No!
I'm not sure if we're gonna finish by nightfall.
We still have 4 hours.
We'll see.
This is the compost toilet I just built. I've got my raised bed garden here, and I've started a table. So we are putting in the last screws to have the sides and the roof done. If we finished the structure, we still wouldn't have finished the inside.
No, not finished like the details, no. If we continue tomorrow morning, then we can make it a really good looking tiny house.
All right, not moving in, but tomorrow. We have just a little spot left up there to do, and once we've done that, we'll have built out the entire house itself, and still a little bit to do on the inside. But man, 3 days was quite the goal. That would have been a serious accomplishment.
Voila!
Right now, we've created the bed. I've wanted a stump table for a decade. Nice. Tiny house is built. So we did it.
Have a good night here, Rob.
I'll be over for dinner.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
All right, time for me to move in. So here it is, the tiny house built from trees right on the land, and over the next few years, probably hundreds of different people will sleep inside of this tiny house. So I want to give you a little bit of a tour, so come on inside. It's really designed to come here and live simply and with the basics. So there's the door that I just walked through, and then we have one that goes right through the back. We built out a structure to put the bed on top of, and we're actually going to end up putting 2 beds inside of here, one on either side. Underneath the bed, there's some storage. Right above me, there's a shelf. And then right over here is a shelf as well, just to have the basic possessions. And then this will be made into a sitting area as well. And then here there'll be a flip down desk. You know, living the good life in here and being able to spend most of the time outside. I'm gonna show you the kitchen now. And the idea with all of this is to keep it sustainable. So how this sink works, the water we use is from the spring, and then instead of it going down the drain, it goes down and it's collected into a bucket, and then this water can be put onto the garden to grow food with, using a biodegradable plant-friendly soap, and it can go right onto the plants. The sink rescued from the landfill. Next up is the shower. The water for the shower comes from the spring as well, or harvesting rainwater. And with this bucket, I just put holes in the bottom of it. And again, this water stays right here and just waters the trees. So this is the spring that's just about a 30-second walk from the house. Delicious pure water straight from the ground. And this is the water for showering and for doing the dishes. It all comes from right here. The compost bin is very simple. The idea of this is to live as zero waste as possible, to compost everything that can be composted and not send things to the landfill. The last stop on the grand tour is the toilet. And this is the poo with a view. We did have to buy the toilet seat, which was about $4. This plant's called mullein or lamb's ear, and it's just a wonderfully soft plant. My toilet paper grows right here for free in nature. And this is a compost toilet. So it's composted right here on site, and then that poop actually, once it's composted, can be used to put on fruit trees to grow fruit. So here's my dream table. There's the stump from the tree we cut down with a beautiful view just to be able to sit here, read, relax, look out. So there you have it, from tree to tiny house, all together with the wood coming from nature and using almost everything else secondhand. We spent under $50. If you want to include the gas and the wear and tear on the blade from the saw, then we're talking about maybe another $30 or so. Now, I want to say that this is designed just to be used during the spring, summer, and fall here in southern France, and it's for woofers or volunteers who are learning organic farming here at Le Rêve de Gaia. I hope that this video has been helpful in realizing how simple it can be to build a tiny house. And I'll see you again real soon. Yeah, that's good.